am I the only non-Spanish speaker?
No, there are more. I think there. Yeah, this is the official language here, so we should do it in English, even if we are all from Spain. I think. Okay, so growth hacking. Do you all know what growth hacking is? I was telling you before, so you all know, yeah?
No, I don't.
You don't know it? Okay.
I know what's hacking.
So why did you come here if you don't know what it is?
No, because I know what is hacking.
Okay.
I know what is work.
Okay, it has nothing to do with hacking.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Might you have time to get out if you want.
No, that's fine. I'm curious.
Okay, it's kind of hacking, but that has nothing to do with hardware. It's hacking marketing, hacking growth.
Okay.
So it's would be better to call it fast strategies to grow, fast ways to get customers, to get users, mainly on the internet, and lately a lot on mobile apps. Okay, so it has to do a lot to do with marketing. And the name comes from like 2 or 3 years ago. It's not so old. It's somebody's decided to call it this way. Yeah. So these are trends, you know. Somebody decides to call it this way, and it becomes a bigger trend, and everybody calls it growth hacking. And I'm just going to tell you some cases that I have seen. I like a lot of this, so I read a lot about these type of things, and I write down the cases that I like the most. So I'm going to try to show you some cases which I think they are involved in 7 different type of strategies. Okay, so the first one is what I call full bar effect. Full bar effect means that you need a full bar if you want people to stay in your bar. People go to your bar and it's empty, they're gonna go away. So you need your bar to be full when you open it up. Okay. The second one is guerrilla marketing strategies, which is very known on the internet because it's been done since the internet was invented like 20 years ago. PR with influencers, or PR, it's always been a marketing strategy. Lately it's quite done with influencers because it's easy to identify them and it's easy to address them online. Micro markets and exclusivity, this is a very interesting thing. Has a lot to do with Hotmail and Gmail. And virality tools, we will also see some viral tools or virality tools. SEO, which you probably know, we are not going to talk so much about that. And demo videos, we are also going to explain it a bit, but not go so much in deep, okay? So first thing, full bar effect. Full bar effect means that if you open a bar, you need people to be inside. This is also very known for discotheques. So if you open a disco, you need people to think that that disco is full of people. Sometimes when they open discos, they pay people to be making the line outside. Did you know that? Yeah. Well, it happens like that. They also pay nice girls to be inside. Nice girls inside, ugly guys outside waiting in the line. Okay, that's the way it works. That's the way business works. Okay. So online you have 2 interesting cases of getting the bar full by uploading fake videos or pirate videos. Okay, Mega Upload is a known case because the owner of Mega Upload is quite famous because he was involved with the police. He's now in Australia, I think. New Zealand, that's right. Yeah, sorry. So, no, German. GoEar is a Spanish startup. They also uploaded not videos but music. So people thought that it was full of music, so it was the best music place to be. So they use the website, but then police comes and says, "Hey, this is not right." Okay, but I don't know if you're aware that YouTube also did that before it was bought by Google. So this is not only done by small startups or noisy people, but also by big ones. So So because YouTube was sold for 6,000 million euros or dollars, I think. Yeah. So the founders of YouTube uploaded pirate videos to make the website more interesting, pirate movies or part of movies, so that people wanted to see what was going on the website, and they got more users that way. Okay, it was a very clear growth strategy, but not very legal. You should talk about this one, Ivan, because he used to work for Badu, so I think he knows it very well.
Fake is a very ample word. But it's true that some dating websites, what they do is when we normally know who's popular inside their sites, and those profiles that are popular tend to be repeated across multiple cities. So if you're a very successful person within the dating environment in your city, you probably have your profile being shown in Germany or US or whatever. So Tinder is quite a good example. As soon as the matches disappear, they start to show you profiles of people that not necessarily are from your area. They do it because they increase the amount of nice-looking people.
What they actually do is they change the algorithms. So
The problem,
they play with the algorithms.
the thing with Badu that people mostly call fake profiles is the fact that most people never knew they actually built the profile, and then when they find it, they genuinely don't remember creating the profile. So that became a concern because people thought they were fake, or we were stealing the photos or stuff like that. But what works very well is the mechanics of how people end up creating profiles without knowing they are creating profiles. They think they want to read a message. They need to read a message from a friend, and basically in the process they just don't realize that what they're doing is uploading their whole life into the dating industry. So,
and it was also non-ethical behavior. It was the icebreakers they were sending randomly.
well, yeah, well, I know everything. I've been accused of a lot of things. Icebreakers basically is the fact that, again, nice-looking or successful people would send messages to other people just to reactivate them. And those were automatic messages that the website randomly decides you're going to speak to this person, and just sends messages across. Again, like, if you want to date online, you need to go by the rules, and I don't think there's any honest dating website or app, and you need to expect everything.
Okay, so with that type of networks, fake, the types of strategies that they were doing are quite common. This one I know personally because I was one of the founders, and when we founded the company, we were very interested in people chatting on our website. So we chatted ourselves, so that when people came, they thought that it was, oh, what a big community. But we were all employees chatting among each other. So it was those were public chats. Remember chats at the beginning of this century? There were public chats where everybody came and saw what everybody was saying. Okay, so I was actually my nickname was Doctora Ochoa, which is a very known sex advisor on TV. Okay, so I was giving sex advices on these chats. Yeah, but everybody had a nickname. Like, okay, you have this personality, so you have to give this type of messages online. Okay, and it worked quite well because people came to the chats and saw the community and started chatting, and that way we developed a community.
And you fix the sexual life of some people?
I don't know about that. I cannot. I don't know.
You sent them to Bucky.
If I knew, I wouldn't remember. So, sorry. The Reddit and the Quora cases are very interesting because their founders have admitted it. So on Reddit, one of the founders admitted that they that the links that were on, you know Reddit, it's a community where people share links to things that they like, okay? So, and people vote on somebody else's links. So one of the founders admitted that the first links were placed by employees and founders. So it had some bias because it was, of course, links that were interesting for them. That's why Reddit was a big geeky website at the beginning, okay? And Quora, you know, it's a ask and answer website where you get people answering to your questions and you can ask things. And there are lots of fake questions and answers. Their founders have admitted that also.
Fake
So-
link that has been put in by the employees.
Yeah,
So all of them.
yeah. People are paid to make fake questions and fake answers.
But this is quite common in all industries. It's not just this. Like,
Yeah, everywhere. But these cases are interesting because they admitted it. You know, it's publicly admitted that they were doing it.
I've never ever do a meeting anything.
I don't think so. The Quora and Reddit, not the ones before. Okay. This is the case of Reddit, for example. This is a news where cheating and deception are at Reddit's core, founder reveals. Okay. This has not so much to do, but this I will have to explain this picture to you. What do you think it is?
She's chatting to me.
Yeah, you know because you were in the session before.
No, I know.
You were not. Okay. Ah, okay.
Is she logging into lots of different?
Not
accounts?
login,
She's chatting.
but almost.
She's chatting to me.
Those are smartphones, okay? And there are like 2 rows of smartphones. You see one here and you see the one behind, okay?
She's not. Is she not chatting to people?
No, not chatting.
Using different accounts on the same platform
Oh, kind of, but what for?
to make it seem like there are a lot of profiles on
Downloads?
the platform.
Downloads, yeah. Yeah.
And it's downloading.
They are downloading apps, so it's
To increase the
to
popularity.
increase the
ranking.
popularity in the ranks. Yeah. Sorry?
They,
Not really. On the app markets, IPs are not actually checked. They check the number of, but IPs are also easily cheated. You can have lots of IPs from a single point. And they can use, especially when it's in China, where things are very obscure. Let's put it that way. So this is also getting full bars because when you launch an app on the market, you need lots of installs. Otherwise, it's not going to be in the top positions. So if you want to be in the top positions, you need lots of downloads. And in order to get downloads, you have to pay. You have to pay this type of people. I don't remember the price, but it's like $6,000 per week. So they keep you in the top position.
But they did that in the music industry in the past.
Probably,
They were
yes.
buying records using random patterns in different stores. For example, in the UK,
The American Top 40. You also could pay them to be there, no?
there were people buying records.
So it's that's a way, and the other way is advertising. If you advertise, you get more installs. So you are going up in the app markets. Okay. This is the second type of strategy. Guerrilla. How do you say it? Guerrilla or there's a native here. Guerrilla. Okay. Marketing. This is normally done at events. At events. For example, at Kinnernet. Have you seen anybody doing any type of growth hacking here?
I've seen it before in a different one. Not this one.
I don't think there was much of that here. So as far as I've seen. But the first time I went to Kinnernet in Israel, there was Martin Varsavsky there, and we had a problem with the Wi-Fi. So there was no Wi-Fi. So you can imagine 200 gigs and no internet connection. That's crazy. That's crazy. So there was Martin Varsavsky. He's a famous Argentinian entrepreneur who lives in Spain. And he saw the opportunity. He just started a startup, which was called Phone. You probably know it. It's a Wi-Fi sharing company. So he decided to connect with his phone to the Israeli data system, which means a lot of money, and share his connection through phone, and name it phone. So everybody on the Kinnernet was seeing phone and seeing what phone was for. So he got lots of publicity, and people got to know what it was for, and those were very, very VIP people. So it was very good for his company. That was very smart growth hacking and very opportunistic thing that he did. Okay, but the big event for growth hacking is South by Southwest in Austin, Texas every year. It's SXSW. South by Southwest, I think it's the name, no?
South by Southwest.
Okay. So this is a big event that has something to do with music and technology, and it's the main event right now in the US where more people are more popular in terms of people are going there. Lots of geeks, lots of tech people. So if you want to reach them, it's the best place. And lots of companies have been launched there. So they wait until South by Southwest to launch their startup. And the most famous case is Twitter. Okay, Twitter launched there. And Twitter got successful because it launched there very, very smartly. So what did they do? The problem for Twitter was, that was back in 2007 or 2008, I'm not sure. So smartphones were quite new, but people in the US already had smartphones, but didn't have so many apps. And Twitter was a very new concept. So it was hard to explain, okay, because right now it looks very, very easy, but at the beginning it was not so easy to understand that on Twitter you can share what you are thinking and everybody can follow what you are thinking. That's not so easy. So what they did, they agreed, they had an agreement with the organizers, and they placed big screens everywhere in the conference rooms so people could see what was going on Twitter related to the conference. So that way they understood what Twitter was for, and they downloaded the app and then they could use it. Okay, so it was a big success for them because people that way got to know what Twitter was for. And afterwards came Foursquare, which also launched at South by Southwest, Highlight Square, Whisper, Meerkat this year. Meerkat is the big, it's a big Israeli startup for live video streaming. It's a big trend right now on the internet, and they launched at South by Southwest and got huge usage afterwards. And also, Uber did not launch, but they are doing very smart strategies during South by Southwest. For example, with the ice cream trucks, they place ice cream trucks in some places, so people go there to get their ice creams, and they get to know Uber. Okay. And for example, also some really guerrilla marketing strategies, because they are kind of cheap. The ones that I put here in the third place. Flowcana is the here on-demand marijuana app, and the founder was, I think it will take some time. The founder was walking around in a farmer dress and handing out organic apples to advertise his app, okay? Or book discovery platform deployed several adults dressed up as forest squirrels to go read books on street corners. And one strategy I've seen many times at events is placing small stickers in the bathrooms. So when you go to piss, you are there standing up in a place where you don't have much to see, and there you see the sticker, and that's very cheap.
I'm not sure the women stand up.
No, only for men, yeah. Geeks are normally male. It's not working?
No.
I think you have to wait and don't push it too much. Yeah. My taxi also does lots of guerrilla marketing strategies at events. They normally provide free rides for people, and that way you have to download their app and use the voucher for the rides. One of the strategies that is most known is Airbnbs. Airbnb, when they launched, they didn't have much money, and they, you know that Airbnb launched because the guys needed a room to stay, so it was really out of a personal need.
Who you were too?
Also, okay. So what they did was they developed a software that placed ads on known ads websites, mainly Craigslist. So when you wanted to advertise your house, you used their software, so your ad would get advertised both at the same time at Craigslist and Airbnb. That way they got lots of people to use their system. Otherwise they wouldn't use it because people wanted to advertise on Craigslist, but they were not so interested on a small site as Airbnb at that time. So that way they got lots of people using their website. And that's still not working.
Can I ask you something about what you were just talking about?
Sorry?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, here.
With all the examples you were giving, a lot of them are from tech conferences.
Yeah.
And do you have, like, for example, Meerkat is obviously very big right now, but I've noticed that it's only big amongst, like, my entrepreneurial friends. Do you have any examples of, like, growth hacking and events that weren't at events like South by or
Yeah. The thing is that I'm only interested on tech, so that's why I don't know. But I'm sure there are. Yeah. This you can apply to anything, I think. But it's true that tech comes. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Event and my taxi offers us free rides.
I know Tinder, how they grew in the beginning was they were just sponsoring parties for sororities.
Oh, really?
Okay.
So what they did in universities
Yeah,
is
that
any
comes
sorority
down.
that wanted a party, Tinder would just throw at them $5,000 or $10,000 and create like massive parties. And in exchange, the girls were downloading the apps, and that's how
It's
they
very
grew.
expensive. Also free rides is very expensive.
It is expensive,
To
but
get
it's
a user,
still-
you have to pay him 10 euros. That's what they do in Barcelona. They give us vouchers of 10 euros. Imagine.
it is
How
expensive.
it is to
Yeah.
do the game.
My taxi has a lot of money. Yeah.
It's very expensive. Okay, depending on how much money you have to pay 10 euros.
Yeah, it's true. It's not very gorilla. That's
I don't know,
right.
it's
Yeah,
not-
you're right.
But for instance, Ryanair uses a very smart guerrilla strategy, at least in Barcelona. I remember 1 year ago that they said in their website that if you were going to Plaza-Catalonia in Barcelona and bring a picture saying Iberia sucks or something like this, or their competitor suck, and then you put that in the Facebook, then we'll give you a discount in the next flight. So that's kind of example for non-tech company.
Yeah.
Very
sure.
cheap for them.
And the last case I have here is PayPal. Well, there are more cases later. PayPal, I don't know if you're aware of this, but that's also one of the big cases of growth hacking. When they started, they didn't have so much money either. And you know that PayPal founders are now everywhere. They are big mafia in Silicon Valley. And they developed this bot, this software that went to eBay and bought books. The bot bought books. And then the bot, when he wanted to pay for the books, wanted to use PayPal. So the book sellers said, okay, it looks like many people want to use PayPal. Maybe I should support this system. And that's how they became very big on eBay. And you know that eBay later bought them. So it's also a very big case of guerrilla marketing. Also, I think that Feedly is a case of this. Feedly is a RSS aggregator. When Google Reader, which was the big one before them, decided to close down, they were fast enough to develop systems so that people could, how can I say it? People could upload their RSS links to their system very fast from Google Reader to their system. So they developed it like in 1 day, so that when people were realizing that they couldn't use Google Reader anymore, they could easily transport their things to their system, Feedly. And well, they won the war because many people wanted to get those users, and they got them. Cloud is a very funny case. Cloud is influencer search engine, so you can see what people are influential in every subject that you want, and in every country also. when they launched, they said, okay, we want to get close to Twitter influencers. How do we do that? So what they did was install themselves in the same building as Twitter. So Twitter was small at that time, didn't have a building for themselves, so they went there, they installed in the same building, and they did a search on Twitter, like to see who was going to visit Twitter headquarters, HQ. So they were searching for HQ, Twitter, every once in a while, and when they saw somebody who was going to visit Twitter headquarters, they sent them a Twitter and said, hey, why don't you pass by our office? Because we are on the floor under them. And they got lots of influential people to know them that way. That's a huge case of a very funny one of growth hacking. WhatsApp. The WhatsApp is also a very good case of growth hacking because they grew very fast and they got a big company out of very few people. I think they were 20 when they were bought, something like that. Yeah. 20 or not many more. Or 50. Well, they were using internet forums quite a lot, so they were commenting on internet forums to get users. They did something else. I will go through it later. Tinder, you know Tinder? Tinder is a dating app. It's the one that you swipe like this, no? So if you like somebody, you do this, and you don't like, you do this.
How do you know that?
Somebody said something? Okay, so try it if you are looking for a date. So the founder, the co-founder, Whitney Wolf, she visited college campuses all around the US after they launched, trying to get on board users. What type of users? So she went to sororities. Sororities are the places where women students are living in the US. I think.
Yes, the cool women clubs.
So he tried to get the women from the sororities to use Tinder. So what happens with dating apps is that there are normally more males than females. So if you get many females, males are gonna come. Okay? It's like discos. You get nice girls, guys come later. Okay? Not the other way around. At least so far. Okay, so that worked. 20 did the same thing. 20 is a social network in Spain that launched a bit later than Facebook and tried to get as big as Facebook in Spain to sell itself to Facebook, which didn't get, but they sold it to Telefonica at the end. So when 20 launched, one of the founders, Javier Ruiz, who is from Malaga, I think, he visited the universities in Spain, in some areas, especially Madrid and Andalusia. And what he did two things. He visited the universities, he went to the cafeterias, and he looked for the nicest girl. He sat down with her. He was very PR guy, okay, so very easily talked and very handsome guy. He's actually married with one of the most beautiful girls in Spain. And so he got the girl to use the app, the 20, the social network, to sign in the social network because there were no apps at that time. And he gave her 10 invitations. So besides using it herself, she got invitations for people that she liked or the friends of hers, okay? They are normally the most beautiful girls in the campus, okay? That was one of the things. And the second thing that he did, he looked for the organizers of parties, the party organizers, and he convinced them to use 20 for organizing their events. So he gave them like some money to use 20 for their event, so that people who went to the event had to use 20. And that explains why 20 was a very, very popular network in some parts of Spain, but not in Catalonia, for example, because they never visited Catalonia. So they didn't get users in Catalonia, which is funny because normally websites get spread all around. I think we need your help again. And Fix is an app that fights parking tickets in the US. So you get a ticket, you get the app, and they fight for you. Okay, it's like a kind of claiming against the police because the parking ticket was not supposed to be well done. Okay, so what they are doing is they are employing ticket heroes who are leaving fixed inviting papers on the cars that have tickets, okay, in the windshields. Okay. Okay, PR with influencers. The first one, it's what some people call ego analytics. Ego analytics is when you go to a website or a network and you want to see how popular you are because they have public data. The ego analytics, okay? So Twitter and Pinterest are the most clear cases for them. Some people use Twitter as a game of popularity, or I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but they are constantly publishing tweets in order to see how many retweets they get and all that. That's a big usage for many people, okay? So that works very well. And it's working for Twitter and work also for Pinterest.
And Instagram.
And Instagram also, yeah. Okay, Mint and Dropbox, those ones you know, they were launched on TechCrunch 50, which is a big accelerator program, and that explains part of their success, okay. Uber has used controversy quite a lot. Controversy is a way to get PR. Maybe it's a bad way, but you get lots of visibility, okay?
This was on purpose.
It's not clear. But with Michael Arrington, it seems it was on purpose. So Michael Arrington was a big controversial guy. He's not there anymore. I think he's kind of retired. But they played controversy with him because he liked to play that game very much. So he was the guy that was saying that Uber was not good and all that, and they were very happy with it. So it looks like they were actually creating it, at least with Michael Arrington. But everywhere in Europe they go, they create controversy, and that helps them, in fact. Sometimes it doesn't help them because it goes all the way to forbidden. That has happened in Spain, but sometimes it helps them become very known. So people get to know them and they use it. Secret and Instagram. Secret is not a good case anymore because I think they closed down. No? But they were able to influence some media members into supporting their startups very early on. So Instagram became very popular in the tech world in Silicon Valley, and that helped them grow very fast. Well, this is a phrase from Robert Scoble. Robert Scoble is one of these influencer type of persons who is everywhere. He's been at Kinnernet, in fact.
Yes.
The sentence is, I don't know of any product that didn't start with us. The tech opinion leaders and early adopters. It's not a very humble thing, but I guess he's not so humble. The Kissmetrics blog, I think it's a very good case because it's a type of blog done by the entrepreneur, the founder, and it's the most popular blog for companies anywhere. And it's very, very good blog, okay? And it's written mainly by the founder, not only, but mainly by the founder, Neil Patil, I think. This is more complicated because for micro market, you have to develop a very good strategy, okay? But there are two. One big case, which is Gmail, okay? Gmail, remember it was launched 10 years ago? No, 11 years ago, in 2004, okay? Remember how it was launched?
By invitation only.
Who got the first invitations?
Not me.
They were
Probably
supposed to be the influencers of that time, which were mainly free software users. So what Google did was go to the free software communities, find the most popular people there, and invite them. Okay, very few invitations. I think there were like 200 or something like that. so few invitations with a very, very good product. So good that people thought it was not true. People thought it was an April Fool joke, okay? Because it had something like 4 gigabytes, or I'm not sure anymore, but it was a lot of gigabytes, okay? One, just one, okay, just one. But at that time it was like impossible, yeah, like amazing, yeah. So, but because before most you could get was like, I don't know, 10 megas or something like that, okay? So it was a huge product, very good product, and launched as a scarce resource, okay? Scarcity. Scarcity is a big driver for people, okay? When there is a scarce thing, everybody wants it, if it's good, of course. So first they launched with these people, they saw how they were using it, and then they gave them 2 invites. So every one of them got 2 invites. That means they were like 200, so suddenly there were like 200 plus 2 more purchased ones, so that means 600, okay? That's still very few, because those people were talking like crazy about how good the product was, okay? So they were creating a big need for the product. So people started selling their invites on eBay for a lot of money. I think something like $10 per invite and something like that was really people wanting to use that product. So Gmail, who was a huge success, thanks to that, later they put more invites and more invites slowly. So at the end it was almost everybody could use it, and you know that today you can just go there and sign in, okay? But the exclusivity and the micro market kind of thing created a big growth for the product, big need for the product, okay? And another case is Facebook. You know that Facebook was launched in Harvard. You can see which were the first users of Facebook, by the way. There's a trick for doing that. If you use the ID links, which still work, you know that every Facebook user has an ID, and you can use an ID link like http facebook.com/ profile equal and the number, I think it's something like that. You get to see the IDs of people. So if you put 1, you get the first user, which is not 1, is 4, I think. The first user is 4, it's Zuckerberg, Mark, okay? And then you start, I did that once, I was a bit bored, so I started seeing who were the first users of Facebook. And of course, all of them were from Harvard. But what was really interesting is that most of them were girls, Asian girls. Asian girls. You know what? Well, actually, Mark Zuckerberg's wife
is Asian.
It's like 142. Okay, it's the ID of her ID is 142, I think. Well, it seems that Mark and his how do you say, his roommate, which was the other person he created Facebook with, were actually looking for girls, and they were really interested in Asian girls. So that's why there were so many Asian girls there. Okay. But
Mark Zuckerberg's wife is Asian.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. She was one of the first users.
She was one of the first users.
So I guess that Facebook was very important for him to catch her, or I don't know how you say that in English. And they were real people also, which is very important for Facebook. You know that one of the reasons why Facebook beat this market is because the users were real, which didn't happen in MySpace or in the other networks that were before them. Okay, so they launched on Harvard. They launched with a few people. They got very popular in that small market, that micro market, and then when they decided that was a good product and they wanted to grow, they went university per university. They never launched everywhere in the university world in the US. You know, you had to have an email address from the university. You couldn't join Facebook if you didn't have an address. So it wasn't. It was a very restrictive product, but that's also the reason why it went well. Okay. Mint is a finance network which also grew very well by by working with personal blogs in this case. Okay. Pinterest, you know that Pinterest has a big female base because the first users that they wanted to get were I don't know how to say this in English.
Stay-at-home mothers.
Sorry?
Stay-at-home mothers. They were moms.
Yeah, that's it. So they want to get them physically to the places where they were. Okay, so that's why they wanted those passionate users to share what they were doing, the pictures, and those were the first users of Pinterest. And later it extended around that, but first it was a micro market. Okay, Vimeo is a case of how you fight against YouTube. YouTube is huge. How do you fight against them? With a very good product addressed to really people introduced in the film world. Okay, so Vimeo is really made for big video users. Okay, Yelp, which is also a very known website right now, at the beginning was just a website for lifestyle businesses in San Francisco. And later it became everywhere, but at the beginning was just that. Okay. And Quora and LinkedIn were also just for startups in Silicon Valley. Right now it's for anywhere in the world, but the beginning was just for that. Okay, so first it worked well with startups in Silicon Valley, and later they went worldwide. Viral tools. This is kind of probably very known. Hotmail. The Hotmail case has been everywhere. You probably heard that Hotmail got very popular because they placed an ad in every email that was sent through their platform, where it said that what Hotmail was for. So when you got an email from Hotmail, you got to know Hotmail. Okay, it was a free email service. At that time, it was one of the first. So people started to see the ads in every email. So they tried it themselves. Okay. And that was their big viral tool. And later they were bought by Microsoft. Dropbox. Dropbox, it's a very good product also, but they encourage you to share how good it is. So if you share it, you get more megabytes or gigabytes. You know that because I think that everybody I know has done that. You want more, so you share it so that you get more users, and because you get more, you help them getting more users, they give you more gigabytes. Okay, that's the way it works. And then everybody comes to use Dropbox. It's funny because in Spain, Dropbox is one of the top 10 websites in terms of audience, which is a lot. I mean, they're fighting with the media for that.
You know, it's now going in China because of that viral thing that happened.
Oh, really?
With BuzzFeed. Do you guys know about that one? That's,
No?
You should definitely check. That's like in China now. There's not many American companies are succeeding with, but starting Dropbox is like one of the top.
Okay.
Because one guy's phone got stolen, and then he found out after like a few weeks that his photos in Dropbox were like from Chinese people. And then some Chinese dude taking photos, and then he followed that guy, and he somehow from Twitter and Weibo, which is the Chinese, met the guy in China, and it became a huge sensation.
So was it Dropbox? I thought it was iCloud.
He was using, I think it was Dropbox, and then the guy was like, it was like massive news because Apple iCloud can now operate there either. So
It's called Orange Man, right?
that's right. That's the orange. It was orange.
The Chinese guy with the stolen phone kept taking photos of
That's
himself
right.
with orange trees.
Yeah. It was Mandarin, but
Yeah.
like oranges, and it's a great story about.
He's been to China. It's actually quite interesting. They treat him like a celebrity there.
Yeah, he's huge.
He's a legend in China.
The guy is really massive. There's a movie coming out about him.
Really?
It's really huge.
And then when you have a great customer service, that's also a good product that people share. Zappos seems to have grown a lot because people are talking, telling their friends how good the service is. Was bought by Amazon, as you probably know. The big one that somebody was talking about that before. I think it was you, Ivan. The import email contact system that works in Badoo, in LinkedIn, in Facebook also used to.
It's not anymore.
Not on Facebook
I
anymore.
think people are less stupid or more aware now of what importing an email address book means. But back in the day, you would get.
Yeah, you know that when you are signing in a new network, at the end they tell you, okay, now do you want to invite your friends?
No, they say something like, find out who else is here.
Yeah.
And at that point, you just insert your secure password into a system that obviously is secure. But what you don't know is that you're actually giving the emails of those that are not there.
And then they send them invites, and it looks like the invites are from you. So it looks like a very aggressive way of getting users. Some people don't really realize that they are joining a new network instead of answering to you personally. So that happens on Badoo, on LinkedIn, also happens quite a lot. So suddenly you get invites from people on LinkedIn, like, I'm already here.
So something funny, like just as a case, these days people have a lot of phones, so they're importing phones, but the problem we have, companies have, so they cannot show phone numbers because people don't recognize them. So I've seen at least a couple of tricks where there's like a script running the phone numbers via WhatsApp and taking the profile photos of WhatsApp. And what they do is they display those photos as they are already in the community. So it's an intelligent way. I don't know why WhatsApp has not cut the open funnel yet.
And the refer a friend strategy is quite done lately. Airbnb is linked quite a lot. So they give you credits to use Airbnb if you invite people to use it. PayPal did that a lot also at the beginning. When they didn't have so many users, they encouraged you to invite people to use PayPal, and they gave you $10 per person that you involved. And Fab, Groupon also did that quite a lot. Mailbox, was published a waiting list, so they said, okay, there are like 200,000 people waiting to join us. So looks like, again, like a scarce resource, okay? Something that is working quite well in the last years is the Facebook social graph. So like you get people to use Facebook and say that they are using your app or on your system. Spotify did that quite well. So on Facebook you saw many times that a friend of yours was listening to some music on Spotify, and that way you got to know Spotify sometimes. And right now there are all these bus websites that are sharing, that are having nice titles that are made out of algorithms, and they work very well on Facebook, on Twitter, and on this type of websites. The most known is BuzzFeed, but there are many like that that happen to post this kind of that also. Also, batches on blogs have worked very well. They don't work so well anymore, but in the old times when bloggers were very influential, so you saw many bloggers have a batch of your site when you were providing them some analytics data or some message that was important for them. The insert video on YouTube was also very popular as a way to get people to know their website. You know, YouTube was very innovative in allowing people to place videos on their websites. Okay, you can embed a code that plays the video in any website. Okay, they were very good at doing that because that way they were everywhere. WhatsApp, I told you before that WhatsApp has done many things which are good, and the main one is being very simple. The good thing about WhatsApp is that you don't really need to provide them any data at all.
I will share an experience that is not mentioned here, and it hasn't.
Yes.
I think people haven't replicated that. But in the first wave of the internet, back in 1999, they were putting all these online travel agency companies. So came one called Travel Zoo, and they decided that the way to attract users was going to be by offering free shares on the company. I mean, they were selling the shares at $1. So I said, rather than spending money in marketing and advertising or any other sort, let me just offer everyone who join our network $1, and for every referral I will give them, one share, and for every referral I will give them a few more shares. And I was one of the persons who went in and did that, and I completely forgot about that. So like a month ago, I received a letter, I'm living in Miami, from the state of Florida, saying, hey, are you Alberto Gross? Did you live in this address? Because we have recovered some assets and we're looking for the owners of these assets. And initially I thought it was a scam, and it says travel zoo. And I completely forgot about this travel zoo thing. But I remembered that in the travel zoo I started offering this to my friends and my family so I can get the referrals. So I went online and put travel zoo and recover claims. And then I found out that 10 states won the battle against travel zoo, and they recovered a lot of money. And they were now looking for those shareholders.
To give them back to you.
To give them back to me. So I wrote them back, sent them my information, my driver license, and I got a check of $350.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
For one check?
And then my wife got a check for $100. She was my girlfriend. She was a good check for $100. And I can't remember how many shares I got, and I don't know how many shares she got, but definitely she got it because I referred her.
Okay.
And
so it was a Ponzi scheme.
You know what? It wasn't a scheme. I mean, they gave the money, and we used to be shareholders of that company. That company went public, and if you go online, I completely, but now it's publicly traded. It suddenly, I think it's now being traded like at $10 a share, and it went to 25 when they did the settlement. And now the states are looking for the shareholders, which there should be many of them.
Okay, they told me we have to finish, so
already.
you don't want to share something or before we end? Is there anything else you want to share or ask or whatever?
I would like to ask your opinion. We are using those coins, the social coin project, and we are using this online-offline growth hacking way. So each coin passes as an average of 8 people, and then we have each.
Yeah. We have to finish. No, we cannot ask. See what he's asking.
Remember what Saint Joseph are they?
I forgot it. I forgot easily, things very easily. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.
We talk later. Okay?